And I'm live. All right. Take 4. Maybe this one will be the one. All right. Let's talk about ginger. So ginger is something that I love fresh. I buy the fresh ginger. Luckily, I get the organic ginger, and it's expensive, but I put a little nugget in my smoothie every day. And I definitely don't feel or see as much of a difference as I do with something like turmeric, but I really do appreciate the taste that the ginger gives my smoothies, especially the green smoothies where I put a bunch of kale into the smoothie. Without the ginger, it just tastes kind of like lawn, right? So I love the taste of ginger. That's so important to me. They've also found that it can be really good for migraines. So I don't know if anyone's dealing with migraines out there. Plant-based diet in general has been proven to be really effective for migraines, but specifically taking ginger has also been really effective. And it's pain in general. Ginger has also been used for like PMS issues and menstrual cramps, which have plagued me in the past. So definitely ginger is a lot better than taking something like ibuprofen, which can kind of eat up your gut and really damage the health of your intestines. So it seems like it's a great option as a pain medication, and it's also delicious. And I really like Dr. Greger's idea of sprinkling powdered ginger on top of sweet potatoes. That sounds so freaking good to me. So freaking good. I love the sweet potatoes. Okay. All right, so then we get into the other herbs. He mentions peppermint, oregano, and marjoram, cloves. They're all just really high in antioxidants. It seems like it's a great way to get your antioxidants. It really boosts it up, really protects your DNA. And it's cheap. Like, it's cheap and it's delicious. You know, I can't think of anything better than having frickin' spaghetti with lentils and the sauce with lots of oregano and marjoram and thyme and frickin' basil. Like, it just sounds so good, and it's so good for you. There's even Dr. Greger on page 363, he mentions that one of the only randomized controlled trials I'm aware of is a study of marjoram tea for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so that's definitely something to consider, especially considering that PCOS is so hard to treat and it doesn't respond very well to most of the treatments that are given. So it says that they instructed women with PCOS to drink 2 cups of marjoram tea on an empty stomach every day for a month. The beneficial effects on hormone levels were observed, which the researchers concluded may justify the improvement claimed by traditional medicine practitioners and patients. I've also heard a similar thing about spearmint tea. I have been drinking spearmint tea for a while. I haven't necessarily noticed any change, but it's something to think about, yeah? All right. 5X Disney fan says, I can't find fenugreek here. Where do you think I could buy it online? I would say there's like the, what is it, the Rose Mountain Herbs or mountainroseherbs.com. If you Google bulk herbs, you might be able to find it on a website like that. iHerb.com might also carry it. I know that they carry a lot of bulk teas and other herbs. Leslie mentions Frontier Herbs. That's a really great source. Those are the guys that usually supply your health food store and stuff with herbs. So you'll probably have to buy it a pound at a time. But if you're sprouting it and stuff, it can be a great issue. And Kelly S. says you might look for lactation tea. It helps with milk production too. Yeah, that's a good place to find it. Dan says, is PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome similar to endometriosis? It affects the same area of the body. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is where the ovaries produce cysts. They become cystic. And then it's accompanied by hormone dysregulation. Usually PCOS is high androgens, So you get high male sex hormones and then lower levels of estrogen or progesterone, or even with higher levels of estrogen and progesterone. And you end up getting a lot of symptoms like very painful periods, difficult to conceive. Weight gain is very common, but it's kind of like, does the weight gain cause the PCOS by interfering with insulin regulation, or is it the other way around? Like, it's very much still a disorder that's being figured out. Endometriosis is where the lining of the uterus starts to grow outside of the uterus. It can be extremely painful. So both of these conditions are, generally speaking, affected favorably by switching to a plant-based diet, especially a lower fat plant-based diet, around like 10 to 15% of your calories from fat. So, I was told by a doctor when I was 19 that I had PCOS. They did the ultrasounds. She positively diagnosed me. Definitely had a lot of the symptoms, irregular periods and such. I was told by another doctor a year or two later that I had endometriosis. They never did ultrasounds or anything to figure that out, but they just said, like, symptomatically speaking, it sounded like I had it. Anyway, both of those issues mostly resolved themselves when I went plant-based. Low fat was important, and I have found that introducing foods like phytoestrogen-rich flax and soy foods, and making sure that I'm getting healthy fats but not too much, and keeping things like, peanut butter managed has been really helpful for me. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions about the herb or spice section? I know he talked about the amla, and that's something that I'm kind of on the fence about because it is a powdered food. I do have some amla. I used the powder. I was using it really consistently for a while, and I noticed virtually no difference. I used it like topically too in my hair oil as a scalp treatment and hair growth promoter. And I'm not sure exactly which ingredient it was in there that was so helpful, but it definitely has done amazing things for my hair and the growth and thickness of my hair, so I can't complain with that. I've heard it can also be used like topically on your skin, which I should do more. It's just nice to do things for my skin. But I haven't noticed that much from eating it. Not to say that I won't continue to eat it, but it is like $20 for a bag. And I'm not sure if that's how I want to spend my money. Luckily, I still have most of my bag left, so I'll just see what happens when I finish it, right? Okay. All right. Check in with your guys' comments, and then we can do some Q&A until YouTube glitches and messes everything up and freezes and crashes. Oh my god, don't freeze. And then we'll end the live stream for the day, okay? So next time we crash is going to be it. I love you guys. And next week we're going to finish the book. So we're reading the rest of the book. Don't worry, you don't have to read all the notes. We'll just go through to the conclusion, and then we'll talk about that next week. I think there is an appendix about supplementation. We can talk about that too, okay? So that's what we're doing for next week. Okay. Anybody tried bee-free honey in their tea? Oh, that's interesting. I've never used it, but it is like a sweetener. And if you can get to drinking unsweetened tea, that would be good for you. One way to transition is to make your tea with licorice root tea inside of it for a while, because the licorice root makes it taste sweet without adding any sugar. Now, there are certain conditions for which you don't want to use licorice root tea every single day. Those would be like blood pressure issues, low blood pressure issues. So if you have any questions about that, definitely research it beforehand. But we'll see. Okay. Hi, George. All right. Kelly S. says, I'm trying a purple sweet potato for the first time ever tonight. Woohoo! I hope you enjoy it. Kelly S. says, is there going to be another book to read in the future? I've been thinking about it. With the way that the live streams have been going, as far as like how jumpy they are and messed up, I am tempted to say no, but I do enjoy doing this with you guys, and it has been so much fun reading this book really thoroughly, and there are certainly other books that I would love to discuss, but we will have to figure it out. Namaste says, I missed what you said was good for your hair growth. That's this oil that I use for the hair growth, and I put some amla powder inside the scalp oil that I made, and it has been incredible. I love it so much. I have a video on the topic. You can look, I think it's called, like, Your Healthiest Hair Ever, right? Okay. Alley Cat says, we should do another book club, another book to continue the book club. I'm definitely thinking about it. Equivocal Truth says, I had a purple sweet potato last night. It was life-changing. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I just bought 40 pounds of purple sweet potatoes, and I brought them home and cooked them and then cut them all open, and they're not purple. Talk about PO'd. Because they are so good. Like, these ones, they taste fine, but they're not purple, so the freaking antioxidants aren't there. I'm not happy. Oh. Yes, I will look into the histamine intolerance when I have time. I haven't heard too much about that before. Okay. Ellie Wolf, would you mind discussing herbs and spices that would help with mood regulation when you get the chance? As far as mood regulation, do you mean herbs like, what is it, the St. John's wort, and then there's like the 5-HTP? That's more of a supplement than an herb or spice. There's some other ones. What did he talk about? Saffron? Saffron he talked about and how not to die. I know that was good for Alzheimer's. I can't remember if it was for depression and such too. I would say, like, depression, it's a multi-pronged approach as far as I'm concerned. You know, you need to make sure that you're getting enough fuel for your brain, so make sure you're eating enough carbohydrates. You need to make sure that you're getting enough healthy fats for your brain, so make sure you got to get you know, avocados, nuts, and seeds like we've been talking about today, and then I would recommend taking an omega-3 supplement, so like an algae-based DHA EPA supplement. Like I said, I get mine from Nordic Naturals. Definitely recommend that. And then making sure that there are things about certain amino acids being good for depression. Don't freeze. Don't do it. Okay. Certain amino acids being good for depression. Tryptophan specifically is known to be a serotonin precursor. So, ironically, there are lower levels of tryptophan in plant foods, but tryptophan doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier as well when there are animal foods around. So you can actually optimize your tryptophan absorption into your brain where it's needed if you stick to a whole plant food diet, right? The other issue with depression is addressing the valid reasons that you have to feel depressed. You know, is life feeling difficult? Are you in a home situation that's not the best? Are you really stressed out? Is work not great? Is your partner unsupportive? Like, what's going on? What's causing this depression? Or are you just aware of how insane the world is right now? You know, what's going on there? So, I've made some videos about it in the past. I really want to make more in the future. We will certainly talk about this much more. Okay. Amanda says, thank you for suggesting the Libby app in your favorites video. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it too. I was listening to the Alzheimer's solution on Melizzy app this morning when I was going for my run, and it was fantastic. I love it so much. I went to the gym for free. I was listening to a free ebook. I was like, I am dominating life right now. Old School Warrior says, castor oil for hair is good, right? Yes, castor oil and rosemary oil, those are both great known boosters of hair growth and hair health. All right. Nivea says, what are your favorite educational YouTube channels or podcasts? YouTube channels. I really appreciate Mike the Vegan. I feel like he does great super informative, well-researched videos. Obviously, Dr. Greger puts out videos all the time, and I just soak that up into my brain. Plant-Based News, I feel like, has been doing some phenomenal stuff on their channel. Lots of interviews with great doctors. Klaus of Plant-Based News has been doing a great job with rebuttals to other videos or dietary arguments or things that are happening in the news, where he takes it and then he kind of breaks it down, checks in with the experts, see what they have to say, and he's just doing incredible things over at his channel. I'm so freaking proud of him. Podcasts, I really love the Rich Roll podcasts. He just did a few great interviews with some really good plant-based doctors. I learned so much from him, and like listening to the Rich Roll podcast has been a way that I've kind of picked up on little threads of information from the people that he interviews, and then kind of investigate the people that he interviews a little bit more and the things that they're saying, and you can end up learning so much. I've mentioned it before, but I like Found My Fitness podcast. She has some issues. I talked about it on my podcast favorites videos, but it's very informative. What else do I have here? I can open up my podcast. Hopefully it won't crash the YouTube. But, check in with you guys. Cass says, "Hi Lily, I've been losing my appetite lately and I don't know what's causing it." I'm not sure, can you clarify what you mean by, like, losing your appetite? Just because, no, that's not what I meant to do. Just because that can be kind of like a vague term, yeah? Like, I haven't been super hungry lately either, just because it's so cold and horrible, and I haven't been exercising as much, so when that happens, and when I'm stressed, I tend not to have a really big appetite either anymore. Let's see. But, exercise and lifting weights always boosts my appetite. I know that isn't always what people need in the moment, so I don't think that's like a cure-all, just go out and lift some weights, you'll be fine. But just making sure that you're still consistently eating. 5X Disney fan says, "I can't wait for spring to get out and be moving more. I just look outside and see the snow and I can't push myself to go out there." I feel you, man. I feel you. Ellie says, "Thank you to Lily and everyone in the comments for your wonderful suggestions. I'm going to do some research into the things that I admit heard about before." Very good. Yeah, you don't have to be diligent about things, but just take things with a grain of salt, Amber says, "I agree. I can't get myself outside when it's cold and snowing." I feel you. I don't know if you guys have any good gyms around, but like, when it's raining here too, it's just been raining constantly for a month. The gym has its uses. Cass says, "I also believe that when I'm emotionally exhausted, I feel too tired to exercise." Yeah, and if you're in a space where you are emotionally exhausted right now and you don't have an appetite, I feel like that's totally normal. And while I think it can be easy for an old eating disorder to get a hold of that feeling and start using it as a way to get you into not eating again, so you definitely need to keep your eye on, why am I feeling like this, and am I respecting my body, or am I punishing my body, or trying to change my body, or control my body? It's like, just, you gotta be aware of what's going on inside your own. Okay. Amanda says, "Perfectly Plant-Based is a great YouTube channel." That sounds nice. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of them before. I have, there's the channel Pickup Limes, which is growing so fast, and she's been kind of fun to watch. It's not like super geek out information, but she puts together nice videos. Good things to share with beginners, yeah? Nivea says, "Old School Warrior Veganism Unspun" has info on it. His gelatin video. Okay. That sounds good. Stars over there says, "Are there any real reasons I would be craving tofu besides it's just a random food craving?" It could be if you're used to eating tofu that's rich in calcium. Your body could remember that as a good source of calcium and make you crave it because your body wants more calcium for whatever reason. Otherwise, like, I crave tofu too. I think it's just freaking delicious, even plain tofu. I know I definitely crave it when it's covered in sugar and salt. So it just depends on how you're eating it, yeah? Otherwise, it could just be because it's delicious. Cass says, I feel weirdly not hungry in the mornings, and usually until nighttime, and it makes me nauseous sometimes when I eat. Most of the time, I don't eat much at all on these days, and I feel like I'm forcing it. Okay. I mean, I don't know what's emotionally going on. If feelings definitely of depression or anxiety or a lot of stress are known to suppress appetite. I'm not going to say that it's a terribly bad thing, but it's definitely, it would be called unusual in our society. I don't think it's a terrible idea to go see the doctor and maybe get some blood tests done and just make sure things are okay. I don't have any reason to think that it would be terribly, something terrible could be going on, but definitely if you have access to a doctor with health insurance that'll cover the blood tests and everything, go in and get it done and just make sure that you're doing okay. Make sure that you're, getting your B12, make sure you're getting your omega-3s, and just cover your bases, and try to listen to your body, try to check in with yourself. Okay. 5X Disney fan says, all the gyms here make you commit to a year, which I hate. Oh, that sucks. I definitely like the month-to-month gyms. That's very silly. Oh, when I offer them to try a bit and they say no, they are too high in calories and carbs, it's heartbreaking, So I just don't talk to them anymore, and I talk to my sweet potatoes and watch your videos. Oh, are you talking about sweet potatoes? Well, I'm glad that you get comfort from the sweet potatoes and watching my videos. Kelly says, I'm a fan of Jill McKeever's channel. She does a lot of vegan, whole food, plant-based recipes. That's good to know. Thank you. All right. Oh, congratulations on your wedding. Thank you. Blessings to you as well. What do you think about drinking apple cider vinegar? Will the acid ruin my stomach, or can it help as a probiotic? Excuse me. So vinegar as a probiotic, as far as I know, isn't a particularly reliable source of probiotics. Certainly drinking straight vinegar can have an effect on the health of your mouth tissues and your esophageal tissues and your stomach tissues. So diluting your vinegar is important so you don't get an acid burn and potentially damage your tissue, which could theoretically lead to cancer, right? There are a lot of studies about eating vinegar or drinking vinegar and its ability to regulate your blood sugar levels, which apparently can cause more weight loss. It can also be great for people with diabetes. There can be some other benefits of vinegar beyond just probiotics. It's not something that I enjoy doing, so it's not something that I do regularly. I do like to make vinegar salad dressings and stuff like that to get the benefits of vinegar without having to drink it, because, and again, like, definitely don't drink it straight or you're just asking for trouble with your mouth parts and your teeth, and just don't do it, okay? Cass says, I got blood tests recently and everything was good except vitamin D, which was low, and my hypothyroid is still being fought by my immune system. Okay, so you have some autoimmune thyroid issues going on. Well, that could definitely be affecting appetite, low appetite, of course. If your vitamin D is low and you don't have the option of sun exposure, then definitely supplementing with some vitamin D is a great idea because it is such an important nutrient. You don't want to overdose yourself or take huge amounts of vitamin D, but taking a small amount in supplement form and getting your levels back up could be a good idea. If you are having issues with hypothyroid, like, I think that rest is important, and I would say that it would be important to just get yourself eating at least small meals, and do that at least 2 meals a day, and kind of force yourself into doing it, because you need to get the nutrition, you need to support your body and make sure that you have fuel around. Amber says, so when the weather sucks, I try to exercise at the gym or do yoga at the studio or at home. Yes, I think that's a great idea. And right now, like, the weather is cold and sucky, so I've been going to the gym and going in the sauna, and it feels so good. Leslie Smith says, I felt that way when I was eating too much fat. I got my liver enzymes checked, and they were twice the normal level. Ooh, oh no. She had 3 months low fat, fixed it. Yeah, jeez. Louise, those are some problems when your liver enzymes are that high. Is it true that garlic is bad for your brain cells, or that it kills brain cells? I've heard it can desynchronize your brain. That sounds like something that is not legitimate. Garlic and the other plants that are in the garlic family are exceptionally healthy. I don't think I've ever seen any study indicating that it could be an issue for your brain health. So I don't think that that's true. Amanda says, I have red wine vinegar on my salads. Does red wine vinegar have good benefits? Yes, it appears that all vinegar has those benefits. So yes, if it's real, true red wine vinegar, then yes, it would be good for you. Okay. Probiotics are great for depression. Yes, gut health is exceptionally important for depressive feelings. All right. Lord Cutler Beckett says, I've just started using apple cider vinegar as a toner, and it seems to be helping my cystic acne. I dilute it 2 parts with water and 1 part vinegar. Yeah, vinegar I feel like is a great beauty tonic. Thank you for sharing that. I've been thinking more about using vinegar on my face. I do it every now and then, but I haven't been consistent. But it's great for hair and your face, because your hair and your face naturally need to be more acidic. So when you keep that acid mantle in place, it can definitely help your skin health. All right. Schmoopshiffy says, I was doing a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar 3 times a day, and after a month or so, I was having kidney pains. Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that before. I wonder what's going on there. Cider vinegar is good for a hair rinse. Yeah, I was using the apple cider vinegar. I was using like my nice Bragg's vinegar, and I was like, that's expensive. And then I found this white vinegar. You can get like over a gallon for $4. So I started using that instead. And it makes me smell like an Easter egg, but it works. Tandy says, I recently found your channel, so I'm just now starting the book. What other books, blogs, etc. do you recommend? By the way, I ordered the vegan dry brush that you recommended, and it arrived today. Oh, I'm so glad to hear. I do have a few book recommendations videos. I have one that I put out last year that is up to date, and I think it's a great place to start. I think it was one of my monthly favorites, and it was like all of my favorite books. So definitely check out that video.